Long before Boston became a symbol of American independence, a hub of learning and a center of culture, the area was wilderness. Rolling forests, marshes, and the shimmering Charles River provided the home for the Massachusetts people. They fished, hunted, and farmed along the river, thriving in harmony with the land. Their sophisticated knowledge of the seasons and the river's resources sustained them for centuries, long before European explorers arrived. In 1630, Puritan settlers, led by John Winthrop, arrived from England seeking religious freedom. They landed on the Shawmut Peninsula, naming the settlement Boston after their English hometown. Life was harsh, winters were brutal, food scarce, and the marshy land required ingenuity to build homes, roads, and meeting houses. The Puritans' strict code, devotion to community, and commitment to education shaped the early city. Cobblestone streets were lined with timber buildings, churches dominated the skyline, and schools became central to civic life. By the mid-1600s, Boston had grown into a thriving colonial town. Its port allowed trade with the Caribbean and Europe, and shipbuilding became a critical industry. Markets bustled, taverns echoed with conversation, and neighborhoods began to form. Boston became the intellectual and cultural heart of New England, a place where civic duty, religion, and education intertwined. The 1700s turned Boston into the cradle of revolution. Tensions with British rule escalated as colonists resisted taxes and trade restrictions. The Boston Massacre in 1770 marked the first violent clash between colonists and soldiers, shocking the nation. 3 years later, patriots staged the Boston Tea Party, dumping British tea into the harbor to protest taxation without representation. Streets like King Street and neighborhoods like the North End became theaters of rebellion. Patriots like Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and Paul Revere organized the city's resistance, making Boston a symbol of courage and defiance. Boston's role in the American Revolution was pivotal. The city was occupied by British troops who attempted to control commerce and suppress dissent. Local militias, spies, and everyday citizens worked together to defy oppression. Paul Revere's midnight ride warned colonists of approaching British forces, while the Battle of Bunker Hill demonstrated that Boston's patriots could stand against one of the world's most powerful armies. By the war's end, Boston emerged not just as a city, but as the birthplace of liberty in America. Following independence, Boston transitioned into a center of commerce, industry, and culture. The 19th century brought rapid industrialization. The Boston and Worcester Railroad and other rail connections integrated the city into the growing nation. Immigrants poured in, the Irish fleeing famine, Italians seeking opportunity, and Germans arriving with skills in trade and craftsmanship. Neighborhoods such as South Boston, the North End, and East Boston became dense with families building churches, schools, and community institutions. These neighborhoods maintained their cultural identities while contributing to the city's growth. In 1872, the Great Boston Fire devastated hundreds of buildings, destroying much of downtown. Yet the city rebuilt swiftly, erecting brick and stone buildings, widening streets, and introducing fire prevention measures. The disaster became an opportunity for urban planning and modernization. By the late 1800s, Boston had expanded its population, industry, and cultural footprint. Museums, theaters, and educational institutions flourished. The early 20th century brought further evolution. Boston became a hub of medicine, education, and research. Universities like Harvard, MIT, and Boston University attracted scholars worldwide. Hospitals became leaders in medical breakthroughs. Immigration continued, diversifying the city further and shaping neighborhoods like Dorchester, Roxbury, and Jamaica Plain. Boston was balancing its historical roots with modern ambition. During World War II, Boston contributed to the war effort through shipbuilding, manufacturing, and technology. The city's ports and factories supplied troops overseas, while local innovation advanced military technology. After the war, Boston modernized its infrastructure, rebuilding neighborhoods and embracing urban planning. Skyscrapers rose alongside historic brick buildings, blending tradition with progress. The city's culture also thrived. Jazz, classical music, and theater flourished alongside revolutionary thinking in politics, education, and science. The Freedom Trail preserved revolutionary landmarks, while Fenway Park became a national symbol of America's pastime. Boston's identity as a city of intellect, culture, and resilience deepened. In the latter half of the 20th century, Boston became a global center for education, healthcare, and technology. Biotech and finance boomed, while universities continued to draw talent from around the world. Neighborhoods retained unique identities: Beacon Hill, with its historic charm, Cambridge alive with student energy, and Dorchester vibrant with immigrant communities. Today, Boston is a city of contrasts. Historic streets coexist with cutting-edge laboratories. Revolutionary monuments share space with modern art installations. The Charles River reflects the city's growth from colonial harbor to industrial hub to modern metropolis. Boston's story is one of visionaries, settlers, patriots, immigrants, and innovators. It is a city that has faced wars, fires, immigration waves, and economic shifts, yet continues to thrive and inspire. Boston's journey is not just about buildings or streets, it's about people. From the Massachusetts tribe to Puritan settlers, from revolutionary patriots to immigrant families, from industrial pioneers to modern innovators, Boston embodies resilience, ambition, and transformation. Its history teaches the world about courage, adaptation, and the power of vision. From colonial harbor to modern metropolis, Boston remains a city where the past and future coexist, guiding the path for generations yet to come.